What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Woke Up Worthy. Thank you so much for tuning in. I've had so much good feedback already just from a short little intro I did just to kind of introduce the podcast coming back. So I am so excited to be back with you guys. I know you guys are as well. But as promised, there's going to be heaps of episodes on all of the updates such as life in the world of Jade. So today I really wanted to focus on my hot girl summer, but there's going to be a few different episodes. I feel like there's maybe 2 or 3 pivotal moments or pivotal lessons I picked up from that short, I reckon it was maybe, it wasn't even a year that I was single, but it was like a hectic, intense, lots of lessons all at once. And I know you guys are probably going to hear the word lessons quite a bit with me on this podcast, but that's just kind of the mindset that I teach. Whether you go through something positive or you go through something negative or challenging or traumatic, I always like to have the optimistic outlook of what has this taught me, or what is this trying to teach me, or what lessons can I take from it. So a very optimistic mindset is what I'll always encourage you guys to do with your journey. So I will focus on one of them. So during my hot girl summer, I met someone on a dating app. So this is actually my first time ever using a dating app. The OGs of this podcast will know. That's one of my ragdolls right on cue. Let me just let him in. Side note, it's actually my cat's 10th birthday today, Nala. She's blind, so we were just singing to her so she could hear it. So happy 10th birthday, Nala. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so for those OGs of the podcast, I probably before my hot girl summer had been in relationships for like 10 years. So I was in one for like 7 years, and then I was in another one after that for 3 years, like literally back to back. So serial monogamist, had never like dated properly or had like that hot girl summer phase, as we like to call it. Yeah, it was just so new to me, and it was quite frightening to me as well, because a fun fact about me as well is I am an avid true crime lover. So you can imagine the more crime documentaries you watch, the more you're like, not stepping outside my house, especially single. What do you mean go home with a complete fucking stranger? Like, that is where my head was at. So I didn't really, 1, I was never single, but 2, even when I became single, it took a very long time for me to want to talk to strangers. Not because I wasn't confident or didn't want to. I was just like, everyone's a serial killer. Do not approach me. Do not talk to me. I'm going to end up in a body bag in a river somewhere. No one talk to me. Like, that was literally my mindset. Still kind of is. So yeah, I actually downloaded Bumble Friends first, because I was like, oh, I'll just ease my way in there and make some friends. It was my first time on my own in 10 years. It's not like I didn't have my own friends already, but it was just nice to kind of be in that headspace of like, oh, let's step outside the box. Let's meet some people. So yeah, I went on Bumble Friends, and then I downloaded Hinge. I was like, oh, I think TikTok sounds dirty and nasty. I'm not going there. Hello, this is Jade from the future. I definitely meant Tinder, not TikTok. So I downloaded Hinge, and it was just fun. Like, I just really struggled with it, actually. The first idea of like, how do you explain how awesome you are over an app? Like, I know I'm really cool. I know I'm awesome. I'm freaking hilarious. I have a lot to give, but like, how do you portray that over an app? I was not like, how do you do that? So that was really struggle town. And then the first time I had to swipe, I just felt really bad. I was like, because you really are judging people on their looks, and that's just never something that I've ever pursued someone with. Like, obviously looks are important to a certain degree, but like, because I'd always met people in person from a young age, you obviously connect with them first. So I really struggled and felt bad judging people based on their looks on an app. Anyway, you get over that pretty quick. And yeah, definitely matched with someone. And then we hit it off, went on a few dates, and we ended up like seeing each other for a while. Now, the reason I'm telling this story is because it's kind of important for something else that I experienced, which will be a separate episode. This kind of has a positive outcome. It actually ended really shit, but it was positive for me. It was a positive lesson for me. So we became quite close. We were seeing each other for a little while. And it came to like close to my birthday. And when I say like seeing each other, I'd met a few of his friends, had sleepovers, you know, all that kind of jazz. And one day, like we'd organized to spend my birthday together and everything, spent Valentine's Day together, like, you know, seeing each other. Anyway, one day we like had made plans and he was going to soccer practice or something. That should have been a red flag, soccer practice. Fuck. How did I not see the signs? Just kidding. So we had made plans. And he's like, I'll come over after soccer practice. I was like, no worries. Anyway, I'm sitting at home. It comes like 10 o'clock and I hadn't heard anything from him. And I'm like, has he fucking died? Like, oh, I just rubbed my eye and I forgot that I was wearing mascara. Wow. So you're going to have a black eye. So he was just not replying. Like, I think an hour before that, he had sent me a message, like a photo of him on the field. Like, so he was there and he was alive. Constantly messaging on the way to soccer, like, which was pretty normal for us. And then just nothing, like complete ghost town. And I was like, my general reaction, having no experience in this field, like dating, I was like, he's definitely died. There's no fucking way. No way this guy's ghosted me after months of hanging out. Absolutely no way. Like, what even is ghosting? I'd never experienced that before. Just completely falls off the face of the earth. And I was like genuinely concerned because I was like, surely not. Like, it's not like we have never made plans before. It's not like I've never seen you in person before. Like, it just completely disappeared. And I was genuinely concerned. I thought he died. Messaging, like, just let me know you're okay, whatever's going on. Anyway, didn't hear from him again that night. 2 days go by, have not heard anything. Then I just sent like a really serious message and I was like, look, whatever is going on, that's fine. I'm not offended. Please just let me know that you're alive. Otherwise, you know, I can't sleep because I think you're dead. And he finally sends me a message and he's like, hey, yeah, sorry I left you hanging. I just, you know, did the whole fucking sob story. Like, it's not you, it's me, blah, blah, blah. And I just want to tell this story because I was really proud of myself in terms of my instant reaction wasn't to be like, what have I done wrong? Like, am I the problem? Does he like me? Am I not pretty enough? Like, none of that bullshit. And I'm telling this because if you listen to previous episodes on this podcast, I have been through some very traumatic relationships. And the reason I'm so proud of my confidence in my self-worth these days is because I've done the fucking work to get from a place that I have been previously, which is very low self-worth, self-criticism, like just absolutely demolished from relationships where I would have in this situation been like, oh my God, like what did I do? Of course he doesn't like me. But nah, I was super proud. Like I was like a little bit bummed to be like, oh, it's over. But it did not even cross my mind that I was like, what can I do to change this guy's mind? Because I was like, mate, that's your loss. And I was so proud of myself. I wasn't rude. I wasn't up myself. I was just like, yep, thanks. Have a great life. Obviously in a nice, empathetic way. I was like, look, man, whatever you got going on, that's fine. That's not my business. But I actually had this deep feeling of, correct, it's not me, it's you. To put it lightly. Like, yes, thank you for clarifying. And I was like, I know it's not me. Like, if you tell me something that I've done, like, I will, of course, reflect and grow on it. But I know Like I was fine. So we connected really well. So whatever you got going on, that's your business. I'm going to continue doing me. But yeah, I just wanted to tell that story because I'd never been in a place, one, I'd never been single. And two, I was put in the position where I was ghosted after months of like dating someone. Yeah, I'm not about to sit here and grovel and like beg for you to stay with me because I feel like I have a lot of value and a lot to give. And if you don't want that, then that's okay. Like, and I now doing a lot of reflection, especially after being single in that year, is you are not everybody's cup of tea and you shouldn't have to mold yourself to fit what someone else's idea of their person is. If you don't have things in common with someone, don't lie about it. If you don't value the same things, don't lie about it. If something they say like crosses a boundary or makes you feel a bit icky, like talk about it and don't settle for those kind of things because it's okay that they're not your person. It might mean that in the interim you're a little bit bummed out that it's not them because obviously you've started to build a relationship or feelings and memories. But this is why I say it's so important to get to know who you are as your true self, because if you're not aligned with that and you meet people who test that a little bit and you try to morph yourself to fit other people's idea of how you should be in a relationship or who you should be, and if you don't know who you are, that can easily be moldable by other people. So if you're very in tune with who you are and you're confident and you love yourself and you accept yourself and you're compassionate for yourself for who you are exactly, when you're in the dating world and you meet people and they go, oh, I don't like that you did this, or try to fucking ghost you, then you can easily go, that's okay, you're just not my person, versus what have I done wrong, or how can I be different, or question your looks or question your values, or how can I fix myself to make this person like me, which is not the correct way to go about things. So yeah, I'm just really proud that in that moment I had done all the work that I had done in my whole life to get up to this point of self-worth was tested, and I was able to go, I appreciate your honesty, even though you fucking ghosted me. I appreciate your honesty now that I've asked for it. Whatever you need to do, you go do. But yeah, I'm not going to sit here and try and change your mind. So we're obviously just not the right fit, and that's okay for whatever reason. So adios. I was definitely bummed about it, but I was like, I'm still single at the end of the day. I'm going to do me. Yeah, so funny story. We didn't really speak after that. Obviously, he had set that boundary, which is fine. I just carried on with Hot Girl Summer. And I ran into him at a pop-up summer festival thing. And his friend approached me to say hi. So I'm chatting to his friend and I can see, we'll call him Bob, the guy that I was dating at the time, Bob. I see Bob standing in the background. He notices I'm talking to his friend and he like laughs and comes over to chat to me. And I'm like, hi. What do you want? And he's like throwing the whole, oh, I miss you and blah, blah, blah. We should start talking again. I'm like, nah, mate. I'm good. Appreciate you recognizing that I'm fucking catch, but absolutely not. Wish you well. No bad blood. Like, I'm not immature or anything. I was just like, look, no thanks. Don't feel like going down that road. Yeah. And then the next day he messaged me. I was like, nah, all good. Nice to see you, but fuck off. And the next day he sends me a text. Oh, so good to see you last night. Trying to talk again. And I just left him on red. I was like, nah. And it's important that I'm telling you this story in detail because I'm going to tell you another story that's the complete opposite of what I just told you. And when I say complete opposite, a completely different version of me handled not the same situation, but pretty much the same situation. And the whole point of telling both stories, and I'm going to do the other one on another episode because it has so many fucking layers to it, But the whole point of telling both sides is like, I had this idea of how proud I was of like how far I'd come with my self-worth and confidence and everything. And of course there's a difference between showing up in a world with that confidence when you're in secure relationships versus putting yourself out there in the dating life and being single and being on your own, right? And I definitely recognize that now. And I was faced with lots of different decisions and lots of different scenarios that I had never ever had before because I had always been in relationships. And I'm very fucking grateful that I had my hot girl summer when I was in my 30s, because luckily in my 30s, I have done so much work up until this point. So I feel confident in who I am. I feel assertive. I've done the work. I feel like I carried myself in a different way in my hot girl summer because I know the type of person I was, and this is very normal, very, very normal in my early 20s. I know everyone listening to this, whether you're in your early 20s or you're looking back at your early 20s going, oh God, we're just very like vulnerable, insecure women because, and that, I think that's very normal. Like we go through such hard-hitting, traumatic, or just upsetting events, especially in the dating world, but with friends and stuff as well. And if you don't do a lot of personal development, or you don't read books, or you don't have coaches or mentors or whatever it is that you do, it's just very natural not to have the life skills or communication skills or things to do to make sure you're equipped to deal with these situations. So we're fucking blind. Like, how do I navigate this? Where am I going? What do I do to feel better? Ugh! And it's just a mess, right? So I was hit with all those situations, but because I was in my 30s and I had done the work, most of the scenarios, I hit like a fucking warrior. And side note, it has nothing to do with how old I was. It's just that's the age I happened to be that I had my first single hot girl summer experience. Yeah. Where was I going? So yeah, there is obviously another part that I will tell separately where, and I need to acknowledge that just because I have done all this work and gotten to this place in my life, for some reason, I'm human and I was still capable of falling back into those routines of being vulnerable, being walked all over, being used, being a people pleaser. The biggest thing that I think I took from it was I was like the people pleasing tendencies came out, and I will talk about it in a lot more detail. But yeah, it was just so interesting to look back and reflect now that I am in a beautiful relationship in a way better place than I was during that time. I'm all about like giving yourself grace and being gentle with yourself, because you can't see it for what it is while you're experiencing it. Or your friends tell you, but you go, nah, nah, it's all good, I'm fine. But yeah, you look back and you just go, how did you allow yourself to go through that, you dumb bitch? I'm just kidding. Be gentle with yourself. But yeah, it's just fascinating that no matter how many skills you have, no matter how much experience you have, we're fucking human. And some people, I guess, have different holds on us than others, and has a lot to do with upbringings, which is why it needs a whole other fucking episode. But it's just so fascinating. I need to write a fucking book on it, honestly. But yeah, so I just wanted to highlight that experience first. So that is story one from my hot girl summer. Was seeing someone for a little bit during this period, fucking ghosted me, and I was like, fuck you. Fuck you in a nice way. But I was like, go sort your shit out, because it's not for me. It's not for me. I'd spent my whole fucking life in my relationships being a fixer and a helper and a parent to people I was dating. So I was like, I'm not about to be that person when I'm single and trying to have fun, which is huge for me to say, because I'm a fucking nurturer, an empath, like all that shit till the cows come home. Like, rave mum, let me help you. How can I heal you? So for me to need that time for myself during hot girl summer is huge. So I'm alive. I made it out. Yeah, once I tell the other story, you'll go fucking black and white, like contrast. Absolute contrast. It's almost like this second story that I'll tell, I keep like edging it on. This other story that I will tell was pretty much my inner child, like my traumatized inner child was navigating that experience, but my adult fucking self-love, self-worth version of myself tackled this ghosting story or this ghosting experience. So it's very interesting how I can be one version of myself and the other. And I don't, and it's weird, like, do you label yourself as better or not better? No, we don't. We just go, no matter how many techniques and breakthroughs and everything I've done to deal with that trauma in my past, some situations are still going to put you in an opportunity where you either retreat and you can't get through it and you go back to previous ways of dealing with things, or you rise to the occasion and you stand up for yourself. And so it's just weird. And I didn't realize that I was in that place until I got out of it. So again, won't go in detail yet because it needs its own fucking episode. But yeah, that is part 1 or story 1 for Hot Girl Summer, because there's a lot. Number 2's gonna be big. Don't know if I meshed it up with a bit of like the friend story that I want to update you with. I definitely want to tell the story of my lover, my chef kiss lover that I have right now. So, lots of stories, but let's get that one out the gate. Let's start on a positive. I was great. I was positive, handled it well. So yeah, that's how it went. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed listening. Make sure you give this podcast a follow on whatever platform you're listening to. Hit the little bell so you're notified when I post every Tuesday. But thank you so much for listening, guys, and I will see you next week. Bye!